What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. Of course, the biggest thing happening in pop culture and entertainment news right now, today, is the newest trailer for Avengers Infinity War. Of course, we've seen a bit of this movie from the previous trailer, and now we're getting even more of an insight into what goes on in this film. What characters are in it, what are they doing in it, how are they interacting, and where some of the biggest battles are taking place. There's still, of course, a ton of mystery surrounding this movie and surrounding Thanos and his quest for all of the Infinity Stones, but we do know a bit more. So let's dive in a little and talk about some of the takeaways from this trailer and some of the things that I am the most excited about from seeing this trailer. The first one, of course, is that we find out that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to play a bigger part in the movie than maybe I had initially expected. You know, I knew that they had crossed paths with Thor and they were going to show up in this movie in some aspect, but I was half expecting them to show up at the very end of the film as kind of like this big turning point moment, and then have them play a bigger role in the second Infinity War movie. But that doesn't seem to be the case. We have some shots in this trailer that show, for example, Star-Lord interacting with Tony Stark, which is an absolutely fantastic moment in the trailer. I can't wait to see those two guys just continue to interact because they're such like different yet very similar personalities. I'm really excited to see them bounce off each other. And a lot of the trailer focuses on Gamora, her kind of describing Thanos to Tony Stark. And we even get a flashback to when she was a child being raised by Thanos. So clearly they're playing a very big, very important role in this movie. And that excites me a lot because they're awesome characters, and I'm really excited to see them finally brought into the larger fold of the Avengers movies. We also get a glimpse of what is called the Black Order, or apparently as they're going to be called in this film, the Children of Thanos. We've known that this group of individuals was going to be in the film since statues of them were unveiled last July at D23, the Disney convention. Basically, these are, people working under Thanos, kind of minions of Thanos. They're shown with Loki in the film. And one of their members, Ebony Maw, is shown kind of seemingly torturing Doctor Strange. That is kind of a pull from the comics, so we know that did actually happen. So it seems like they are kind of taking that storyline, that confrontation between those two characters, and drawing on that for this film itself. So lots of new people there we don't really know much about, at least in the movieverse, in the Black Order. We also know from this trailer that has me very excited that Wakanda is going to play a pretty huge role in the film. That was pretty apparent in the first trailer that we saw, and now in this trailer, it's very clear that kind of the big climactic battle is going to take place in the, of course, African nation there where Black Panther is from. We know that Captain America, of course, Black Panther, Black Widow, Falcon, War Machine, Hulk, Vision, Scarlet Witch, they all are in Wakanda from the trailer. We get to see them get off the jet and are met by King T'Challa. And we know that Bucky Barnes is also there from the previous trailer. So there's a lot of people showing up in the area ready for the fight. We also know that the Hulkbuster, at least armor, is in Wakanda. Now, I'm suspecting, since we see Tony Stark kind of doing other things in other places, that might be either a remote-controlled version of the armor or being piloted by someone else. I doubt that Tony Stark is maybe there in person, but I also might be wrong. As I said, I loved seeing Star-Lord and Tony Stark interact. That was fantastic. I also loved that we got to see a little bit of Peter Parker interacting and quipping with Doctor Strange. In the comics, the classic comics, team-up comics, I always loved the team-up issues between Peter Parker and Doctor Strange because they are kind of the most polar opposites of superheroes that you can possibly find, and really just kind of polar opposites people, so they always made for really great foils to each other. And, you know, it was always kind of clear that, like, Doctor Strange felt very old when he had to deal with Peter Parker, because, you know, it's this teenager who doesn't understand anything and just wants to joke about everything. And and can turn all of his incantations into funny, ridiculous things that he's saying. I'm really excited for those two guys to get thrown together. And it seems like, at least from like the posters and some of the promotional material, that they are going to be kind of close as sort of the kind of New York-based faction coming into this movie. So really excited for Peter to kind of swing along Doctor Strange there. Now, one of the big things that is an omission in this trailer, and people are asking, is where in the world is Hawkeye? Of course, Hawkeye has retired in these films so far, but he did get pulled out of retirement in Captain America Civil War. So you would expect he would play some sort of a role here in Avengers Infinity War. Now, we do have some on-set photos people have snapped, featuring Hawkeye showing up to set, but the costume that he's wearing, at least according to kind of his legs and shin guard, he seems to be wearing Ronin gear. Now, if you don't know who Ronin is a character that Clint Barton portrayed in the comics for a time. After Hawkeye died, came back to life because, of course, it's comic books, he adopted this mantle of Ronin as he joined the New Avengers. And it was this whole kind of thing of self-discovery and growing up, and that was the whole reason that he didn't just go straight back to being Hawkeye. He kind of wanted to be this hidden new person for a while as he was kind of dealing with things. Led to him being a prominent member on the New Avengers team. And then finally, eventually did go back to his Hawkeye persona, but he was Ronin for a very long time in the comics. So my guess, if we see him as Ronin in this film, maybe he potentially dies in this film and then is going to be reborn using one of the Infinity Stones as Ronin. Maybe we send him on that journey of death and then being reborn. And that's how we kind of end up with this version of the character. It would certainly be a really cool take on what is already a really cool character, but I certainly hope we get to see more than just a brief cameo of Hawkeye in this film because he is a fan favorite. Now, there's lots more in the trailer that is awesome. There's lots more cool stuff going on. I can't break down every single second of the trailer, so go check it out yourselves. I'm sure you've already watched it a bunch of times like I have. One more thing I wanted to talk about today, revolving around the Infinity War movie in general, is where are these Infinity Stones? So in the trailer, we get to see Thanos kind of trying to smash down Captain America, and of course Cap blocks his hand, and they have a really cool moment there. But at that point, in Wakanda, we are assuming, Thanos has 2 of the Infinity Stones on his gauntlet, instead of the full set. So where are the others? Of course, the 2 that we see on Thanos' hand are the Power Stone and the Space Stone. The Power Stone, the last time we saw it, last time we knew about it in the movies, it was being guarded by the Nova Corps. And clearly, something's gone horribly awry there. Thanos has acquired it from the Nova Corps. And the Space Stone is the Tesseract. Of course, we've seen that all over in the Marvel movies from way, way back, and that is the kind of Space Stone morphed into a cube, and now it's kind of placed into the gauntlet itself. So that is those 2 stones. The other Infinity Stones and where they are in the movies, we have the Mind Stone. We know the Mind Stone is implanted in the Vision's head. It's kind of what powers Vision, gives him his cognizance. It's actually a part of him. We know the Reality Stone, or at least last time we saw it, is with the Collector, which is Benicio del Toro's character. We are assuming he still has it. Maybe he's been killed. Who knows? But that was the last time we saw that stone. The Time Stone, Doctor Strange is in possession of that stone. He's wearing it around his necklace. In the trailer, at some point, you see him with it on. Later in the trailer, when he's being tortured, in fact, you see that he doesn't have it anymore. So maybe that's the point where it gets taken away from him and Thanos acquires it there. And then finally, the Soul Stone is the last Infinity Stone. And we have no idea where that stone is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been no mention of it. There's been no hint of it. We, again, have zero idea where it could be. It could be that they're saving the big reveal of where the Soul Stone is and who has it for the second Infinity War movie. It might be something that gets set up for the second movie, or we don't even see it happen until the second movie begins. Or it could be a situation where it's more hidden in plain sight. Maybe it is involved in Wakanda somewhere. Maybe it's hidden in that kind of flower garden that we saw in the Black Panther movie. There's definitely some indication, at least in fan theory, that says that might be the case. So it could be that that's why the big culminating battle is taking place on the Wakandan territory, because Thanos is trying to get the final stone for his Infinity Gauntlet. The only thing that we do know is that there's going to be a massive fight, and the fight will not be finished in this movie, and we unfortunately can probably expect some heroes to die. That is what kind of some hinting has been happening about in recent interviews with people who would know in Marvel movies. So who knows who that's going to be, and who knows what the outcome is going to be, but we can certainly know that the fight will not be resolved until the second Infinity War movie. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me here on the show. Make sure that you like Pretty Dece on Facebook at facebook.com/PrettyDeceShow. Follow me on Twitter at PrettyDeceShow, and visit PrettyDeceShow.com. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily episode. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, on the podcast, and inside the Anchor app so you never miss any of the content.